A lot of you guys may have the question, what should I be picking with my 4th anniversary exchange shop coin, as well as the Prism coin that we will be getting in the future. That's what we're tackling here today. Thank you guys for joining us here and spending that little bit of your time out of your day on the channel. Hopefully you guys are having fun out there, staying safe, and then once again, thank you guys for the continued support via Patreon as well as YouTube channel memberships. Much appreciated out there. So first of all, if you've logged in, you have the coin already. We'll get the coin for the Prism in the future, but what we have right now is the coin for the character. The way to use this, you're going to click on Shop down here, and you're going to go to Exchange Shop, and it will be the first option up here, the Exchange Shop Next Era U coin. So this is what you're going to be picking with your characters. Well, there will be, like I said, another exchange shop for the Prism in the future, and we're going to go over all the characters that you can get here today, as well as which ones you should definitely be looking forward to. So last but not least, and easiest ones to skip, we have Pyro Glacial Lastwell, Blossom Sage Sakura, Lotus Mage Fina, Nameless Gunner Jake, Heavenly Technician Lid, Maritime Strategist Nicole, Awaken Rain, Hio, Citra. All of these, don't go for it. Don't go for it, especially if you're a newer player. There's much better characters to pick. Citra, Seekheart is pretty good. Focus, pretty good. Ignacio is pretty good. You guys can get in there and do some supportive stuff with these characters. Seekheart is a pretty fantastic tank, but there are other tanks that you can pick up on this banner, so I would definitely suggest that you do not get Seekheart either. Folka we will return to. Ignacio also has some unique applications with his supportive aspects, but there's some newer characters that you can get that these characters aren't bad, but there's just some better ones that you guys can get. Now, the first one that's interesting to talk about here is going to be Sid Dragoon. He is true double hand natively, but if you have the true dual wield gear to use for him in the future, we just got the Machina free character with the free TMR and the free super TMR. Both of them fantastic for Sid, as Machina, the free units version, is a sword that gives you dual wield for having it equipped. This allows you to equip Sid with that sword. It allows him to naturally dual wield now because you have that sword equipped. You get a spear in one other hand, some true dual wield gear, dual form, Hermes sandals, things of that nature. You're going to have a massive big burst damage dealer on your hands. If you're a new player, this could be something you could go for, but it is more gear intensive than some of the other characters out there. This would be more and likely out there for the mid-tier / veteran players who've been playing for a while and are looking for that big burst of damage. They have the gear to back it up for things such as Dark Visions. If you're a newer player, though, there's going to be easier characters to gear on this banner. Reagan, the old one, does not keep up with the other characters we're going to be going over. Sacred Stroke Charlotte, though, is interesting. She just got some nice enhancements. All right, a very fantastic magic tank for you. If you haven't seen that video, check it out. It was released just yesterday. Very, very powerful magic tank, able to keep up a 50% general damage mitigation, able to cover your entire party for magic cover at the same time, and even can put up an 80% magic mitigation buff for 2 turns to your entire team there. So very strong magic tank, a very solid option, very dependable as well, because her LB is so cheap and does 2 very powerful and important things at the same time. Reapplies your cover and puts up that 50% general mitigation that you can do a lot of cool things with Charlotte, right? If she gets killed and has re-raise and comes back, you're going to be able to just keep spamming that limit burst. So she's a very solid and dependable unit there. Xeno the Beta Star, Axstar, Seaside Nicole, Aloha Lastwell. These guys are not just simply going to be worth your time. There's better things to pick here. Now, we also have a very top tier solid support breaker with Summer, Fina, and Lid is confirmed as well to have a Neo Vision form in the future that helps you do a little bit more support chaining, a little bit more additional damage as well with their Neo Vision form, where they brave shift, they swap spots, and Fina goes in the back and Lid sits up front with that Chocobo inner tube ready to dish out some pain. But very solid character here. Is a little bit of a mix between a healer and a top tier breaker, able to dish out some very solid breaks, 70 to 74%, able to give Aurora Ray chains to your entire party, has 4 different imperils for you, has the ability to AoE water imbue, which matches one of the 4 imperils for her, has the ability to heal for a significant amount, has the ability to put up re-raise temporarily on your party. All in all, a very solid support character if you don't have one that offers up these sort of breaks and utility like Summer, Fina, and Lid does have. Now, that being said, if you were around and you did manage to get the free Machina, you can go ahead and just use him. They're not the same character, but you can go ahead and use Machina as your breaker and pick up a different sort of character from here. You can pick up a better damage dealer, you can pick up a better tank, things of that nature. But if you're looking for a breaker, Lid and Fina, will be very powerful for you. Summer Folka and Citra, not worth getting. Kimono Fina, not worth getting. Chopo Fina, not worth getting as a character. Soul did just get enhancements. If you're looking for a solid mage, he is up there. He's very powerful. Very strong with his quadruple cast magics if you're looking to enhance a character like Soul. He's in there with 3 different elements. He also has some non-elemental damage as well. And also is very easy to gear because he has natural 200% true dual magic now. So he's going to be very, very easy for a new player to get a character and gear him out in comparison to a lot of the other mages in the game. He might not be the best one, right? He's not better than Rem, and he's not better than the new Bahamut Dark Fiend, and he's not better than a CG Ace or anything of that nature, but he's very easy to gear, and he may be better for you for the time being to help you do those trials to catch up in the game as we wait for the next era to actually show up, which is what this anniversary is about. It's about Neovisions on its way. Now, we also have Aldor King Rain in here, Hess King Lastwell in white, Lily Dark Fina. All 3 of these characters are very powerful and very prominent, but you have the ability to pick better characters than these, as well as Vistalus and Sweet Nicole, Nicole the Epsilon Star, Sakura the Delta Star. And then we get into the real deal. So we have Supreme Deva Axstar, Draconian Princess Fina, Dark Spirit Soul, Infernal Fire Rain, Four Winds Vistalus, War Hero Reagan, Hallowed Aegis Charlotte, and Mystical Ice Lastwell. So these are going to be probably the best characters that you can get access to for damage if you're able to back them up with the sort of gear that they need. Soul was worth talking about because he's so easy to gear. He does not need any additional true dual magic, and true dual magic in this game is very rare and typically only comes from Super Trust Master rewards, which is why I wanted to point him out for newer players. But as we get into these characters down here, you just kind of can pick whatever one you want. But if I had to say for a physical damage dealer, War Hero Reagan is where you want to be out of all of these physical damage dealers that are here. I'd pick War Hero Reagan over Infernal Fire Rain. I'd pick him over Supreme Diva Axstar. I'd pick him over Mystical Ice Lastwell. He's just going to be pretty easy to use. He's not super difficult to gear, and he's just all in all a very powerful character for a physical damage dealer. Now we also have another tank here in Hallowed Aegis Charlotte. Very strong, very powerful tank, able to cover both physical and magical damage, has very strong utilities, can offer up some support chains for you, has the ability to offer up a lot of damage mitigations for your party, can even counter heal and heal your team as well. So that's a very strong. If you need a tank and you're looking for a tank out of all the characters here, you definitely want to go for Hallowed Aegis Charlotte. Better than every other tank on the list here in this exchange shop. Now, the other characters that you can get here, we also have Dark Spirit Soul and Draconian Princess Fina. If you're looking for a mage character and Soul doesn't really pique your fancy, you already have some true dual magic gear, you can pick between the 2 of these characters. All right, they're both very, very powerful, and they will be able to do enough for you to kind of do the sort of job that you need them to do, which is do magic damage to the opponent there. Dark Spirit Soul, Draconian Princess Fina, they're both very powerful. They're stronger in different circumstances, right? They have different killers, things of that nature. But neither of them are like too difficult to use, but they are very, very, very powerful there. Dark Spirit Soul, I do believe he does have like the human and demon killers, which are some of the more popular enemy types in Brave Exvius. So if you're doing some of the old trials, you're trying to catch up, that's going to be something that you can utilize him for there. And Draconian Princess Fina has different killers. Now, Infernal Fire Rain and Mystical Ice Lastwell, if you have any inclination to pick these characters up, just go for War Hero Reagan instead. They're 4 Winds Vistalus, very strong character, but I would go for either Dark Spirit Soul, Draconian Princess Fina, or like we talked about before, for our beginner players, Soul with the enhancements. If you can get him enhanced a little bit there, do the events that come out that allow you to get the ability Awaken materials, you're going to have a very fantastic unit on your hands. Now, that being said, let's talk about specific things for other players. So we have the ability to get Sakura of the Delta Star if you are looking for someone to do some chain finishing magic damage in Dark Vision. Sakura of the Delta Star is a very solid option. That being said, though, remember, she's your traditional mage. She's a chain finishing version, though, right? Like Regina and Roy from Full Metal Alchemist, as well as characters of that nature like Crown Prince Noctis, but she doesn't have the elemental flexibility that those characters do, which means that unless you're trying to fight something with lightning damage, she's not really going to be a top pick for you. Now, looking into the future, let's talk about Super Trust Master Rewards and Trust Master Rewards as we're going into Neovisions. Which ones of these are standing out compared to all of the other ones? So Nameless Gunner Jake's is pretty strong, but if you want a strong two-handed weapon for some chain finishing LB damage. There is the black sparking instead. You can pick that up. So Nameless Gunner Jinx, not really the craziest one. Heavenly Technician Lids, not the craziest one. Really, none of these up here are really super crazy or worth talking about. Awakened Rain does have that nice 30% resistance to all elements. That being said, it's really good if you need a fight. If you're in a fight, excuse me, where you need multiple 3, 4, 5 different elemental resists. Outside of that, it's nothing super special. We also get a lot of event gear in the accessory slot nowadays that gives you a lot of different elemental resistances. This was better back in the day where we saw a lot of trials where you needed fire and ice and wind and water and dark resist all at the same time. Nowadays, we don't really get trials like that, at least not recently, so it kind of fell down in how strong that it is. Heos, not worth picking up. Citrus, not worth picking up. Seacart has a pretty powerful shield, but it's really not worth picking up Ayas either. Folka has the very, very high spirit plus MP % rod or staff, and it's really not worth picking up either. Ignacio has one of the most powerful two-handed axes in the game, but since his introduction to the game, we have the Demon Axe from a trial that you can go and pick up, which is non-elemental and is very, very strong. So don't go for Ignacio's. Get the Demon Axe instead. Sid's a two-handed Wind Spear. Do not need that. Reagan's as well. I really wouldn't go for it. But then we get the Sacred Shield Charlotte. Her shield is actually very, very, very powerful. High defense, high spirit, HP, defense and spirit all on the same shield. Very, 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 very strong shield for you to pick up here. If you are looking for a very solid stand-in shield for your tank, if that's something that you're looking for, just the raw stats on a shield, this could be something that would be worth picking up. You'll use that for a long time there. Xeno of the Beta Stars Katana is also very powerful because of the killers that are on it, the attack % that's on it. It's a one-handed katana, 40% attack in Man-Eater. Run that through Item World, get some extra attack on it as well. You could be getting up to 60% attack in the Man-Eater, one of the most prominent enemy types in the game. That could be very strong for you there as well. Now, X-Stars, Super Trustmaster reward is narrow, but also pretty powerful due to it being a two-handed katana. That being said, it's not the only two-handed katana on this list. I would not go for Seaside Nicole's or Aloha Lastwell's Super Trustmaster rewards. Summer, Fina, and Lid, as well as Summer, Folka, and Citra. Pretty powerful Super Trustmaster rewards here. On the tankiness side, right, you're going to get some HP and MP 50% with some elemental resist. If you go for Summer, Folka, and Citra, you're going to get defense and spirit plus 50% with a smattering of elemental resists. If you go for Summer, Lena and Fid, Fina and Lid's Super Trust Master reward there. Kimono Phoenix is okay, and Kimono Fina Trust Master reward is also pretty decent as well. But for Chocobo Fina's Super Trustmaster reward is actually pretty decent. I do use this all the time. It's nothing you need to go out of your way for, but if a accessory that gives you plus 45 of a bunch of stats, as well as 3 LB gauge per turn, on top of the ability for it to give Guts, which is the chance to ignore fatal damage of 100%, so you cannot get one shot by a strong attack as long as you're above 1% HP or higher. That sounds strong for you. I always have this on some sort of healer in my team because healers with Guts are pretty rare. This allows you to do crazy things like you get into a bad situation and your healer, your whole team goes down, but your healer doesn't because they have this Guts effect, and then they can raise your team and put re-raise on everyone, and maybe you can come back from a situation that way. Souls is pretty decent here, very high magic accessory with some very positive benefits with true dual wield magic as well as true double hand magic. On top of, I do believe it gives you MP cost reduction. That's not the craziest thing ever, but it does exist. Eldor King Rain, it's very powerful, true double hand on a Super Trustmaster reward greatsword. That being said, there's a lot of true double hand, two-handed great swords for you to use there. You don't really need to go out of your way for this one, but you can pick it up if you find yourself using a two-handed great sword user all the time. This could be something good for you to pick up there. Now, Hess King Lastwell, speaking of true double hand weapons, this is the second two-handed katana on the list here, and it does give bonuses to Mirror of Equity type skills, different name skills. It is going to be a little bit better than Axe Star, so if you need a two-handed katana, definitely pick up Hess King Lastwell and maybe use the Prism choice when we get that to obtain 2 Hess King Lastwells. Basically make a 7-star here, fuse it into another 7-star Super Trustmaster reward is on your way there. Well, the Dark Fina, pretty decent. What is it? What do I want to call it? I want to call it a wand, but it's like it's a whip. It's a whip. We call it a whip. I'm trying to memorize all of these Super Trust Master rewards as we come through here, guys. It's a little bit difficult, but it's okay. Nothing super crazy. A lot of mages really like to go true dual wield nowadays, and this one, you know, I think this one is a true double hand whip, whereas the new version of White Lady Dark Fina, the one that rides Bahamut, is a true dual-wield whip, so keep that in mind there. Sweet Nicole Vistalus, Nicole the Epsilon Star, Sakura the Delta Star. Out of these three, I think the only one that might be worth talking about is Sakura the Delta Stars. If you want to get a very powerful rod, I do believe is that one there. Then we have Supreme Deva Axe Star, Draconian Princess Fina, Dark Spirit Soul, Infernal Fire Rain, 401's Vistalus, War Hero Reagan, Hallowed Aegis Charlotte. Out of all these ones, Hallowed Aegis Charlotte, I wouldn't pick this one up. Definitely wouldn't pick that one up at all there. But if you're looking for a very solid DPS style, all around narrow but very solid one, we have Mystical Ice Last Walls. This is probably the one that I'll end up picking up in the future. It's a 56 attack body piece, but it also gives Dragon Killer, which is a killer that is not the most common when you're trying to gear multiple characters, right? We only really have Odin as an Esper that allows you to get Dragon Killer from your Esper, so that you can have Dragon Killer plus Soldier's Protection, but if you're really trying to max out Dragon Killer on one or more characters, you're going to want an additional piece of Dragon Killer from time to time. So while it is narrow with the Dragon Killer, it also has a very high 56 attack in the body slot when you're trying to build up 2 units for those characters, or those 2 characters, when you're trying to build up multiple characters for a battle or a trial where you are not able to bring a friend unit. We see this with Dark Visions, and who knows what sort of content we'll be seeing in the future. We've seen some in the past before with the 10-man trials, but this could be a very solid pickup option for you there. So the Supreme Deva Axe Star is the best general use two-handed katana. It gives you 50% attack at 188 attack. If that sounds good for you, if you're heavily invested into two-handed katana users at this moment, it's the best one that you can pick up. And who knows how good it's going to be in the future though, because two-handed katanas, true double hand, you might see a resurgence. You know, we know that Neovision Axe Star is coming along. There's be more Neovision characters. You're going to find some use out of it in the future at some point. And then Infernal Fire Rain here is very similar to Mystical Ice Last Wall, where instead of it being Dragon Killer, it's Beast Killer. So hopefully this cleared up a lot of the stuff that you guys are having questions about. Remember, you're going to be able to pick a character now as well as a prism later. You don't have to pick the same character. So if you are looking for, you know, a second copy of a character down the line and you want a new character with this one, get the new character with the unit selector and then get the prism for your second copy of either the character you just picked or the character that you are already working on from here as well later down the line in the next following weeks when we do get that prism selector. So thank you guys for spending that time here today. Thank you guys for that continued support, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care, guys.